Magicians use all sorts of tools in order to perform magic. But can you guess what the most essential tool is? Cards? Coins? A rabbit? While it may be difficult to do a magic show without your fluffy rabbit, not being able to use your hands turns out to be quite challenging. Still, magicians such as Ascanio or Mahdi not only inspire us with their amazing skills, but also remind us that magic isn't all about how well we use our fingers. As such, we thought about putting together a video in which we show you 7 ways in which you can perform a magic trick without using your hands. So welcome guys to 7 tricks without using your hands. With your boy Biz, explain. If you're new here, this is part of a whole tutorial series called Tutorial Friday, in which we show you guys all sorts of ideas from self-working magic to mentalism to a lot of slides that we have put together. So if you like the series, then make sure to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, this is the best time to do so and to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we put out. We're also a big magic company and we post a lot of exclusive magic on our website called bigblindmedia.com. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure to check that out. And if this is the first video that you're watching, then welcome to the channel. For these tricks, we're going to be rolling up our sleeves because we're not going to be using our hands. I did roll up my sleeves because I'm going to be the spectator as well as the magician. So, sleeve rolling time. Now, for this trick, we're going to be needing a deck of cards. This can be a deck of cards that the spectator has brought or a deck of cards that you have brought. It does not matter. The deck does not matter. But if you can, have them bring their own deck of cards. This is a card trick that really exploded during COVID because it could be done over Zoom. It uses some principles. It just uses 2 force. It uses a force and the fact that you're paying attention to the spectator, which are 2 things that are already in everybody's repertoire, but the way that they're being used over camera can also be applied to day-to-day life when we're next to each other, and it is just straightforward and very diabolical. What you need to do is to instruct your spectator to shuffle the deck of cards face up in front of you. That is all. Just tell them to turn it face up. Obviously, have them do a better job than I did. I still need to learn how to shuffle. And they will shuffle just like that. Just let them shuffle. And then tell them to stop, and that's it. Basically, what you're going to be doing is taking a look at the bottom card. So now, I know that the bottom card is the Jack of Spades. So what I can do is I ask them to cut the deck, place this one at an angle, and then I go into my story. I talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about during your trick, only to later have them take a look at the card, bury it down in the deck, and then you reveal the fact that it is the Jack of Spades, you know, which is downright impossible. Many people will have no idea how it is that you were able to do this when you never touch the deck yourself. Now, this is the first way that you can do this, and it is the best. It's just the simplest and the best. Hands off, complete miracle, straightforward. All you need to do is find a story. Please, please, please do not perform this trick just like this. Just don't tell them, no, shuffle it face up. Don't do stuff like, don't make things feel important when they are, you know. Have them shuffle the deck, you know. If they take it face down, completely fine. Let them shuffle the deck a couple of times face down and tell them, can you turn it, let's turn it face up so everybody can see that you're really shuffling. This is a normal deck, you know? So always make sure that you're providing them with a motive why you need the cards to be face up. Then when you're done, you know the bottom card, and from that point on, you go into your trick. But just don't make it a trick where you're just doing exactly that. You know, you're doing the cross card, you go back to, so you shuffled, and now you cut, you take a... Don't do that, please. Please don't do this type of magic. Make sure that you tailor at least a fraction of a story that will make people forget about their worries. Because that's what magic is. Connect with them, okay? So that's the very first trick, guys, which you can do without using your hands. Now let's move on to the second card trick. The second idea for 7 tricks where you don't need to use your hands is one that is a variation on what we've just learned. Instead, this time, once we know the card that is on the bottom, we're going to have the spectator take out any card from the center, show it to everybody, place it on top, and then cut it in the deck as many times as they want. Now we know our key card, which is exactly next to their selection. So what we're going to have them do is spread the cards out slowly in front of us. And as they do this, we're going to arrive at our playing card. Now, this is probably not the card, I'm just mimicking. We're going to arrive at our playing card. The next one is going to be their selection. And we're going to have them continue going. Now, remember that these people are not magicians, so they're probably not going to be spreading a deck like this. It's probably going to be pretty difficult for them. So you can have them place the cards down on the table, just like that, you know. Slowly go through the whole deck. Remember their card. And maybe, if you're a little bit more experienced, you can remember some other things as well. Like, for example, if they chose the 7 of spades, where is the 7 of clubs? You know, you can pick up on some things, but this is more to think about than probably you want right now. So just remember what their card is and then reveal it to them in a beautiful way. Maybe meanwhile, you know, you have an invisible deck on you, but that requires your hands as well. So definitely just go into revealing it mentally, and then say it. You know, what I like to do is I play this game where I saw the deck, I know it's the 7 of spades, and then I go, okay, I have an idea. Just think about it, red or black? Okay, so it's black. Okay, look in my eyes, Okay, you probably can't do this if your hand is injured or you can't use your hands, but you know what I'm saying. Just go, look in my eyes. So there you go, guys, a second variation on this by using a key card. They are basically doing everything and you just get your key card and the card that they have selected. Now, while we are on this, before we move on to a different effect, another thing that you can do is make sure that you pay attention to the way that they shuffle. And in case they shuffle one card to the top, you're completely done. You know that the top card is the 10 of spades, and now you don't need to do anything else. You can just tell them to stop, you know, and that is it. And now you do everything with the card that is on top instead with the card that is on the bottom. So there you go, guys. Another idea what you can do in case you cannot use your hands in a magic trick. Here is another idea that you can do in order to get a key card next to the spectator selection. This is much more beautiful and elegant, and I think you guys are going to start using it right away. You have the spectator shuffle the deck of cards, and as they do so, after they do so, you tell them to show you the cards. You take a look at the top card, and now you know is the 5 of hearts. So instead of having them go take a card out, place it on top, and cut it, which might feel a little bit awkward, just a little bit, a very, very tiny bit. What you can do, so the top card is the 8 of clubs, have them deal down, just like this. Have them deal down and stop whenever they want. So let's say they stop here, the 6 of spades. They leave it over here. They take this whole deck with the 8 of clubs on the bottom, and then they place it on top, and they can shuffle the cards. I mean, they can cut the cards, and now your key card is next to theirs. So what they can do is they can spread the deck on the table. This, in case you're not doing a zoom trick, right? In case you're next to each other, they spread the deck on the table. You spot your key card, which in this case is the 8 of clubs. I know that their card is the 6 of spades. And then I can go into my magic. I can hold their hands. In case you cannot hold their hands with your hand, you can just tell them to hold their own hand over the cards and go like this. And at one point you can tell them to stop. And then you make them stop in that area and all of the other cards are eliminated. You spread the cards again and you keep going like this until they land on their card, which is the 6 of spades in this case. So this is a beautiful way in which you can place a key card right next to their selection by not having it feel a little bit cumbersome. You know, you just have them deal like that. They take a look at the card and it feels natural to take all of these, drop them on top, because it feels as if there's no way you can know anything about my card. So there you go, guys, a third idea, you know, in which you can use the deck for a card trick where you don't have to use your hands. Now, I presented the first two tricks as if they were done over the camera, as if they were done over Zoom. But once you are next to each other, there's so many more things that you can do if you cannot use your hands. You can have spectators just deal cards face up like this. You know, you don't have to make them spread the cards in front of you. in front of the camera. You can have them spread the cards as well as they can with both hands on the table so that you can take a look at them, you know, and this way you can get more information. Like I said, you can get information regarding their card and other cards in the family of their card, like the six of spades. Let's go with the six of spades, right? So I can see the six of clubs is the fourth card down from the deck at this point. I can also see the six of spades is 4 cards away from the six of clubs. And then from that point on, I can see a six of diamonds in the center, maybe not that helpful. And then a six of hearts. No, six of spades, six of clubs, the six of hearts is exactly next to the six of spades, you know. So in this case, it was so helpful. I can just pick the cards up and go, I think I have it all figured out. Just send me your card. So their card is the six of spades, right? I can go, your card is the 8th in the deck, and then the 7th is the six of hearts, the 4th is the six of clubs, and I'm gonna go on a hike here, but I'll say the 29th is the six of diamonds, right? So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, six of clubs, 5, 6, 7, six of hearts, 8, six of spades, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25. That was 25. I was just going on a hike. I had no idea where the card was. I didn't do any counting. I could have said it was the middle. 24 would have been better. 24 would have been better. So there you go, guys. This is just a little bit of brainstorming regarding all the 3 tricks at the same time. And I wanted to show you guys this trick with the dealing before we go on to the 4th one, because I feel like it's a nice segue from this one to Fogel's triple prediction, which is a beautiful, beautiful card trick that maybe some of you know, and if not, you are about to discover a beautiful, beautiful miracle. Welcome to the 4th way in which you can perform a magic trick without using your hands. We're going to be doing Maurice Fogel's triple prediction, which has been with me for the past 17 years. It is an amazing trick. And if you've never heard of it, you're quite in for a treat because it's amazing. I've said amazing so many times. I could have substituted it for a different word, but it really is just that marvelous, honestly. So you have the spectator shuffle the deck of cards. And then you're going to tell them that you want to make a prediction. So you ask them to slowly go through the deck like this. And what's going to happen is you're going to take a look at the top 2 cards. Now you want these 2 cards to be of different color. In this case, we have a 10 of hearts and an ace of hearts. So if that happens, just ask them to give the deck a cut again. They cut the cards and then you go. Now you have a 6 of spades and a 3 of diamonds. So you're going to be looking for a card that is combined out of these 2. So the 3 of spades or the 6 of diamonds. You see, I take the number from one and the color from the other and the other way around. So I'm going to be looking for the 6 of diamonds in this case. You ask them to slowly go through the deck. It's going to be a bit more difficult for them if they've never done this. But as they go, you can tell them to just stop when they arrive on the 6 of diamonds and then place it down. If you can use one of your hands, just take it out and place it down on the table, and then you can do the rest of the trick. This is done on the table. You ask them to start dealing cards face down. And then once they're in this position, they've dealt 2 cards, you just tell them to take cards out from the middle, from the top, and start shuffling. And basically tell them to stop whenever they want. So let's say they say stop here. They take the rest of the deck, they put it aside. And now they're going to split this into 2 packets. The way that I motivate this is that in the first one, we've had a lot of chaos by taking cards from different directions, shuffling the cards, making chaos out of them. And now we're going to create a little bit of order, you know, like yin and yang. So I asked them to just deal cards left and right, one by one, until we have all of them finished. And now we're going to have the 2 cards that were previously on top of the deck. You're going to have them on top of each pile. But the way that I like to phrase this is, you know that every card has 2 symbols. There's a number and there's a suit, right? A suit, it's called a suit, right? I just thought about it for a second. So what I do is, you know, every card has 2 things. There's a number and a suit. So let's take from this one, and I take it, and without stopping, I say, let's take from this one the color, you know, as if I was just improvising. I was just saying like, hey, let's take from this one the color, right? And this is important because I don't want to make a pause and say, let's take from this one the color, right? I don't want it to look like I was waiting to see what card it was first. So I know I'm taking the color from here, the number from here, 6 diamonds, and then boom, you have the 6 of diamonds. You can perform this over Zoom, you can perform it next to each other, and you're gonna get reactions that are just completely insane, because people have always handled the deck. They've never done anything. And this is the one trick that I really do perform at all times without ever touching the deck. Okay, actually, the only time I do touch the deck is when I make the prediction. So they shuffle, I take a look at the top 2 cards, I make my prediction, and then I give them the deck. But just similar to that, you can give them the deck, they show you the deck, and then you take the prediction from between the cards. It's a beautiful, beautiful trick. Shout out to Maurice Vogel. And I hope you guys have a lot of fun with it. And now we can move on to the next trick. For the following tricks, we're going to be looking at a couple of magic tricks that do not require playing cards. And I know some of you really love these tricks, and this is why I really wanted to include some that we're not going to be touching the cards at all, and we're going to be doing some nice mathematical things, some nice mentalism with just a piece of paper, and then we're going to be doing something with a dice. So the very first idea comes from Sam Schwartz, and it's called Hypnomath. It basically uses a square with 4 numbers, and these numbers are 109 written on the left side. You have 109 and 688, and the other one is 969 and 101. And these numbers are special because you can actually read them like this, and then you can also read them the other way around. So basically the presentation goes like this. You have 2 spectators, one on one side and one on the other side, and you're going to hypnotize one of them and tell them that it doesn't matter how many times they try, they will never be able to correctly add the numbers. So you give the numbers to the first person, and they add 109 with 688, and they're going to get 797, right? And the next one, if they add it, they're going to get 1070. So they will write these down on their notes app, and then when you take the piece of paper to the next person, you're basically just going to grab it from underneath and flip it and give it to the next person. And in that process, when they're going to add the numbers, it's going to be 797, completely different, and we have 1490, which is completely different from the other person. 797. These ones are completely the same. Guys, the first ones are completely the same. I think I must have mistaken something. So I would definitely just like replace one of the 688 with another number, maybe another 6. So it doesn't end up being the complete same number. Or you can actually use this. You can use the fact that both numbers are the same, right? You go, so you both have 797, right? And you have you both added correctly, right? And they go, yeah, we did, right? So this one, the first one doesn't attract attention, but then the second one is completely different. So I like the fact that I made a small mistake here. This is more like a brainstorming, as you can see right now. So you can use the second information that is completely different in a different way. If not, and you would like to use this trick just to show that the first person cannot add and they should probably go back to primary school, then I would definitely change the 688 to 668 or 686, and then you have completely different values on one side when you are flipping it, 686, that would be 795. Yes, and that would be completely different from this one. So there you go, guys. Sam Schwartz, Hypnomath, a beautiful small trick with potential that I think you guys are going to enjoy. Take it and have fun with it. For the following trick, we're going to be using our hands, but we're going to be using it for just a second, which is why I know it doesn't make a lot of sense in this exact collection. But I was thinking about having an exception from all of them because this idea is just way too good not to include here. And you're not doing any sleight of hand, even though it is a little bit of what could be perceived as sleight of hand, but you're not folding anything. You're not peeking, you're not stealing any sort of information, and those ways that mentalists handle billets. Well, we're not going to be doing any of that. you're basically just gonna have a small piece of paper. Somebody's gonna write a number or a name in the eyes of the mentalist that we have over here. And then you are going to know exactly what they have written on it. You're going to take the paper, hold it in your hands, and that's all you're doing. So that's exactly when the magic happens. You hold it, and if you want, you can rip it or you can give it back and tell them, that's it, I have it, okay? So here's what you're gonna be doing. I like drawing this small mentalist on the paper because it sort of motivates why I have two circles over here. In the original method, it was just two circles and then you draw the numbers, or you draw one number inside. Now, I really like Carl Folk's idea, but I really think that this makes more sense. So what I do is I have somebody think of a number between 1 and 100 made out of two, so it's between 10 and 100, made out of two numbers. So let's say 67, right? Now I'm gonna take a brand new piece of paper so we can do this together over here. So I press really hard so that the spectator sees that they need to also press. Now I made these eyes a little bit too big. So let's go again. Sorry about that. You gotta make the eyes a little bit smaller. It will make sense in a second why. So we make some small eyes over here, right? Then we make the nose. I like making a small mustache. I make the smile over here, and then we draw the eyebrows. Now let's say they go with 67, right? Just like that. They put it over here. And what you're gonna tell them, take the note and just place it down on the table. You're not gonna be taking a look through the note. So it's got nothing to do with how thick the paper is. That's why I said you can actually use one of those billets that are much thicker, because what's gonna happen here is, while you have your back turned and they do this, you're going to put a little bit of moisture on your fingers so that they become moist. And what this does, when you pick up the paper, you are going to touch the eyes and press them between your fingers, between your thumb and your index. And you can see that the numbers are going to be imprinted on the indexes, just like that. So you can see I have 6 over here and 7 over here. This one looks like a 4 from this point of view, but I have to realize that it's flipped and it's actually like this. So it's gonna be a 7. So I have 67 right here. I hope you can actually see that on the camera. If not, I really hope, because it's right there. So you're placing your index fingers exactly on the two eyes over here. So the eyes are here and here. I place my indexes right there and I push down with my thumb. And I'm doing this after I pick up the billet. I pick up the piece of paper, I place my fingers there, and I instantly look at the spectator. I make my mark, I close the note, I tell them, okay, you can actually keep this because I've gotten all the information from touching, from feeling the paper. Don't tell them touching because that's exactly what you're doing. So I give them the paper. If you want, you can actually rip it. In the original method, you write one number, you rip it, and then you have it in both hands, and you can guess in which side the number is. But I like this method much more because I came up with it. The story, I didn't come up with the method. I like this story much more because it sort of makes sense why you have the circles. So now I give them back, and what I do is I'm gonna try and recreate what you did. So you were writing, and you see, I have a reason to look at my fingers because I don't want to be looking at the paper. Because what happens is, if they press a little bit too hard, they will think that you're seeing through the paper, and that's not exactly what you want them to think. So this is why I get the paper from them. Boom! Break time. This is what I'm talking about. This is a small segment where I just remind you that we are a magic company. We're putting out a lot of exclusive magic with creators from all around the world. All of these go on our website, bigblindmedia.com. If you haven't checked it out, make sure to do so, because there's a lot of goodies over there that you just should not miss. There's also a bunch of free stuff there as well, so make sure to give it a glance. I instantly place my fingers where they need to be. I press down, I look only at them, I bend the paper and I give them back the paper. Now I'm still looking at them, I will say, I'm gonna try and recreate exactly what you did a few seconds ago. So you had the billet and then you were writing, right? So now I look at the first number, this one's 7. And as I'm writing, I look at the other one and I know it's 6. So now I know 67. I will instantly touch my index fingers over here and I will rub them with my thumbs in order to make the what is that, the ink I don't know what that is. The ink to go off my fingertips, and now I'm completely clean. I can look at them and I can do my number and say it's 67. I think this method is so ingenious, and I bet you a pretty dime that many magicians will never have any clue how you did this. So you can perform this for magicians, you can perform it for laymen, you can do whatever you want with it. It works with two numbers, it works with one number. Just make sure that you know that they will be mirrored. So when they're on your fingertips, the numbers are going to be mirrored. So you have to mirror them in order to see, in order to actually know what they are. I've tested this out with letters as well, so you can actually have a name up to 5 letters, but it is a bit trickier because everybody writes in a very different way sometimes, so that can be tricky. You can try it out if you want, but I feel the numbers one just makes sense. So there you go, guys. A beautiful, beautiful trick. Shout out to Color Wolves. Hope you guys use it, have fun with it. Since it's just a little bit of touching, I thought it might fit in here as well. So please don't judge. Please don't judge. I do apologize if this one, if there's people that cannot actually use their fingers, but I wanted to also give you this idea as well. So I hope you guys have a lot of fun with it. Welcome to the 7th way in which you can perform a magic trick without using your hands. Now in this one we're going to be needing a die, so grab any normal die that you have lying around, and then, oh, already started traveling. And then we're going to be drawing a grid that is 5 by 5. The way that I draw this is by setting a die down. I use a playing card to draw all of this, and this is exactly the length of a playing card, you know. So I've noticed that it fits exactly the die, and I make sure that all of these squares are exactly the size of a die. Because the way that this works is you will be telling the spectator to roll the die just like this, side by side, and then stop at one point. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is what you need, a normal die, and this grid that is about 5 by 5. Now the story goes like this. You have somebody select a number, let's say they select 1. They place the number on the X over here. This is where the journey begins. And then during this whole time, you have your back turn. You tell them to roll the die just like this and ask them to stop at any point. So let's say, for example, they stop here, you know. And then when you turn your back around, you will instantly know every time, wherever they stop, they can go backwards, they can go forwards. It doesn't matter how many times they do this, you will always know what number they have. So let's go over this and see what happens. First of all, the corners will always contain the opposite of the number they chose. So let's say they choose 3, they put 3 down, and you have 4 here. You're going to have 4 in all of the corners. So you see it's 4 here, it's going to be 4 here, 4 here, and 4 here. But just for the explanation, we're going to be using 1 and 6 because it's very easy to remember. So we're going to put 1 down, right? So you're going to have 6 on each corner. And because I see that it's 6 here, it's very easy to know what number is on the other side because we have 7 minus 6 is 1. All of the sides, the opposite ends of a die will always add to 7. 6 plus 1, 7. 4 plus 3, 7. 5 plus 2, 7. So the corners will always show the side that is opposite to the one they chose. The value that they chose will always appear in the center of this diagram, this drawing. I don't really think it's a diagram though. So we're going to have 1 here, 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 and here. Now, if you get any of this other area, so if you stay here or there, you know, all you have to do is come and take a look around at the number that is going to show up, you know. So if I turn around and I see there's a 5 here, I know it's going to flip forward. So I'm going to take a look on this side to see what number they chose. If the number is over here, then I know that the number that they chose is the one that they just flipped down. So I'm going to come around and make sure that I see the number over there. And this applies for all of these positions. And I'm going to show you a demonstration. So let's say I turn around and this is the position. I have no idea what number they chose because it's a 2 over here. But I can see that the number facing me is 6. And I know that the opposite to this number is the one they chose. So now I know that it's 1. If I turn around and the number is here, then I know this is not their number, but it's the one that's going to come. So it's going to be 1. And if I turn around and let's say we're here, right? So at this point, I don't see anything. I see a 4, a 5. That's it, right? All I have to do is just move a little bit and I will see the 1 on this side because that's the one that's going to show up, just like that. So taking the information requires very, very little effort and you don't have to touch anything at all times. All you have to do is just look at the spectator, and this is the way that I will do it. I turn around and I instantly look at them. I never look at the die, right? So I turn around, I look at them, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I look down at the table. Did you move this? Did you move this around? So I ask them a question that will motivate me looking down at the drawing. So let's recap. You chose a number, right? You placed it down on the X. You went around and you stopped wherever you wanted, right? By recapping, I have a reason to look down at the drawing. I get all the information I need. I know it's a 1 and that's it. Do not turn around. I would not like to see somebody turn around and they instantly look at the drawing and the die, because that's not important. The audience is the important member. You're performing to them. You're entertaining them. You know, you turn around, you look at them. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 4, 5, 2, 1, 3. Okay. I think I have an idea. So let's recap before I tell you. I think I got it. So you chose a number, right? You placed it. We had it here on the X. And then you turned it. Now I know that it's a 1. You turned it and then you stopped whenever you wanted. And now I know the number, right? What I like is to, if I'm performing for someone that's a child, I like to also give a story. Maybe talk about how this is a traveling die and we're going to make it travel all the way from one destination to another. Now that it's arrived at a destination, it's feeling a little bit dizzy from traveling so much. So it needs to get back to being themselves, you know? So I'm going to take the die at this point and just place it back to the number that you chose so that it can stop being so dizzy, you know? So then I take it and right here in the center, I turn it around, I play with it a bit, and then I put it down, just like that. So it's a cute trick, I know. But I really like these smaller tricks because it allows you to build a story around them. And I think there's so much untapped potential in these that professional magicians are ignoring. They're always looking at the serious tricks, you know. So there you go, guys. The 7th way in which you can perform a magic trick without using your hands, but with using your heart. I hope you guys enjoyed this. 7 ways in which you can perform a magic trick without using your hands. Well, there was one trick where you did need to use your hands, so I hope you can look over that. And you know, maybe you can just use one hand. If you have the other one, you cannot use it, or you can use your feet. I'm just saying. If not, you can definitely think of another way in which you can get those that ink, that carbon thing on your fingers. Maybe you can have them, you can tell them to like stick their fingers and then you grab their hands and you look at their hands and then you lick their fingers. If you guys have enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop a comment to let me know if you know any other tricks that you think would fit in this criteria. Let me know which trick was your favorite, and if you have any other suggestions for a series like this. We did get a bunch in our last episode, but if you still have, drop them in the comment and we'll make sure to make some videos. If you haven't subscribed, this is the best moment to do so. If I have told you that already, I'm telling you again because there's many of you that have not subscribed to the channel and are watching this video. My name is Bez. You're always going to find me here on Big Blind Media, and I hope you guys have an amazing day.